Bum, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 boom. Boom, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Simulation. I'm your host, Alan Sakyan. I'm really excited to talk about this topic. It's extremely important for us to all embody and have conversation with each other about. It's about transhumanism, and it's about how we're not quite ready for transhumanism. And I have a bunch of notes I have to unpack with you all, and I'm really looking forward to it because let's jump into it and unpack. So first definition, transhumanism. International philosophical movement that advocates for the transformation of the human condition by developing and making widely available sophisticated technologies to greatly enhance human intellect and physiology. Yes, amazing. Sounds great. Everyone wants that. Everyone wants to greatly enhance human intellect and physiology. Definitely. And that's what's been happening over time with evolution. We're not lagging behind. We're just having a nuanced conversation here. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Transhumanist thinkers study the potential benefits and dangers of emerging technology that could overcome fundamental human limitations, as well as the ethical limitations of using such technologies. Most common transhumanist thesis is that human beings may eventually be able to transform themselves into different beings with abilities so greatly expanded from the current condition to merit the label of post-human beings. All right, let's unpack this ethical quandary that we find ourselves in. The reason why this is so important is because of the ethics of transhumanism and the ethics of what's going on around us. There's still greed and corruption at play in every single one of our political and economic systems. I don't think there is one economic or political system that doesn't have at least a tiny bit of greed or corruption in it. And so it requires us to expand our souls and expand our levels of consciousness to a fully integrated level of coherence and resonance with each other prior to being able to say, I'm going to go ahead and plug a Neuralink into my head, and I'm just going to let anyone with any greed or corrupt tendencies control my mind. Does this make sense now? Do we see where this is going? Because we don't have consensus on nuclear weaponry, on robots and drones as weaponry, on neurowarfare, on biowarfare. We have no global consensus on any of this stuff. We're a bunch of kids. We're like a bunch of fifth graders that are at recess, and someone gives a gun, there's a box of guns to the kids and says, you guys should figure out the ethics. Are you fucking kidding me? We need to slow down. We need to think. There's no reason at all to be going at such lightning speed that we cause another arms race, which seems to be inevitable, but it's not. We have the power. We have the ability to control what goes on in our world. It's now more than ever important for us to control our urge for jumping into the maximal technology as soon as possible, beating China, beating the Middle East, beating Russia, beating the US, beating Europe, beating everyone. That's so dumb. It's going to cause civilization to become extinct like every single other one of the advanced civilizations before us did, because people got too greedy, they got too corrupt. Every single one of these massive empires collapsed because they got too greedy, they got too corrupt. It can't keep happening. We have to stop and find peace amongst each other and find peace amongst these exponential technologies that are going to be making us transhumanists soon, so that we can best solve the ethical dilemmas along the way through these transhumanist quandaries that we face. This is a major deal because we are augmenting the human ability to think, the human physiology. Your biometrics are already being monitored. You already have a smartphone that's monitoring your biometrics. Your data is the most valuable commodity that you have, and your attention and data. And if you really think about all the sensors that are in the devices that are monitoring everything that you're doing already, that data is you're already being manipulated. So am I. We're all being manipulated already by algorithms. People are hacking into our minds already, and this has never before happened in civilization, that they can measure our data, hack into our minds, and even furthermore, now it's way easier because of things that give us even closer and faster connections directly to the nervous system of the human being. This is a really freaking important one. One of our friends, his name is Bernhard. He wrote a very great post here. He wrote about transhumanism, the consciousness trap. And here he writes about how transhumanism is extremely interesting, but it's also extremely able to manipulate who we are and what we care about. If you think about the amount of negativity that's happening on the planet still, greed and corruption, that greed and corruption will seep into the souls of the people that are most vulnerable. So I can make myself most vulnerable to, I can be an open portal for negativity to come into my soul, like somebody controlling my thoughts and feelings and emotions and data and everything. And then they can make me do whatever they want me to do. And it's going to be some dark energy and some dark forces that are pushing for this as quickly as possible, because the more that you push fast, the less ethical regulations that can come. And we all know that the less ethical regulations that go into something over time, the less ethicists, the less philosophers that work with AI scientists and that work with bioethicists, that the less we will figure out how to optimally advance, and we will have unnecessary suffering because of the greed and the corruption that's trying to push into our souls as quickly as possible the transhumanist movement without us slowing down to best understand how to do it. Quick shout out. Are we in a computer simulation? Our dope t-shirts. If you guys like these t-shirts, you can pick them up on simulationseries.com. Go share it with your friends over the holidays. Ask each other these thought-provoking questions. So seriously, what the fuck? Why are we letting rich... There are some people that are rich and amazing. There are also people that are rich and greedy and corrupt and want your soul to be an open portal for them to be able to control. Because then they can control their families, they can control your cousins, they can control your friends, they can control your coworkers, and just be... And Bernhard writes about this very interestingly, because he takes this a kind of a step further, because he talks about, right here, he talks about negative aliens and satanic forces. Bernhard's a very interesting human being, and he has worked his muscle of tapping into what exists past the 3D reality a lot. And I go to veilofreality.com, the link's in the bio, go and check this out yourselves. And go and read up more about this and talk to your friends more about slowing down geopolitically, about transhumanism, to have the proper ethical guidelines and moral frameworks going forward. That's why there's so many AI safety and security researchers right now, because they're trying to figure out how to work together. That's why Elon Musk has been telling the entire world over the last couple of years, yo, slow down on AI, work together, don't have killer robots and killer drones. Jeez, we dropped bombs on, we got bombs dropped on us at Pearl Harbor. We dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That is effed up, and it's only going to get worse with the sniping technologies that exist with robotic and drone and nanotech and biowarfares and neural warfares. This is some serious stuff. We have to slow down and think. This is not fear-mongering whatsoever. This is foresight. I've had the opportunity to sit down with so many brilliant, diverse leaders over this last year on our show, and over and over again, these different diverse, brilliant leaders in their fields, at the forefronts of their fields, say the same thing. Slow down and think. Work together. Find out the ethics. Don't rush, because rushing it is what the greedy and corrupt want to happen so that we can be controlled as quickly as possible. And just keep checking this out, because it goes into further fields of 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 contrarian thinking that definitely needs to happen. Because when you take a look at this, you see a contrarian thinker like Bernhard that's talking about the AI and transhumanist agenda. That, here he's talking about, Elon Musk and Neuralink. And that is like, how do you trust that the person that has control of the Neuralink or the neural dust or whatever it ends up being that enables other people to connect us to Wikipedia, but at the same time be able to download whatever thoughts into our head at the same time as we can upload, that two-way communication stream is going to be benevolent? How can you trust that it's going to be benevolent? You have to trust the benevolent dictator that leads that company in order to think that the transition to transhumanism is going to be that benevolent and easy. And I hope we can get to the ethics together on time for this, because I have a lot of faith in humanity. I have a lot of optimism in humanity, but I also am very realistic about what's going on around us, because I study civilization and civilization design all the time. And the optimization of civilization design, if you want to optimize the way society can be built and constructed, you need to slow down and think. Rushing causes extra suffering. Rushing causes extra suffering. Man. All right. So I see so many geopolitical pressures going on across our world, and it's just ridiculous how many geopolitical pressures are going on. I mean, it's like absurd how many arms races we have for the different emerging technologies, and we have to figure out how to just slow down. In the practice of things like meditation, equanimity, self-work, looking at yourself objectively in a mirror, body work, spirituality, psychedelics, these different practices bring people closer together, and they bring you closer to source, or to God, or to consciousness, or to whatever all that is. And in order to get there, you have to work hard on yourself, on sincere self-work and sincere collective work. And sincere collective work with economic and political and geopolitical pressures. We'll get to coherence with nature slowly over time. So if you try and ascribe an age of maturity to civilization, what would it be? Like, ask yourself this question right here that I just highlighted. If you were to ascribe an age of maturity to civilization, what would it be? Because I already gave you an example. We're a bunch of fifth graders on a playground on recess where someone just gave us a box of guns and said, figure it out. Because if you're spiritually advanced enough, you will figure out a way to have everyone collaborate on getting rid of the guns. And you will be like, we're just going to continue being our blissful selves on this playground. But the moment that someone picks up one of those guns and says that I now own all of the guns and you all have to work for me and you all have to be slaves, that's the classic game of Monopoly. One person ends up with everything, everyone else ends up with zero. Got to get away from that mentality to be able to progress as a civilization. We won't be able to make the strategic leaps and bounds we need in technology and interstellar colonization if we can't find peace within ourselves and amongst each other. I love my transhumanist friends. You just need to slow down a bit. I love my contrarian friends. Keep propagating this message, and also respect the transhumanists, because they have some long-term visions that we need to fulfill as well, but we'll just do it more slowly together. Find the nuance in this conversation. We're not ready for transhumanism yet, but we will be soon. We have to slow down and think. Think about it. Who will teach robots ethics? Who will teach AI ethics? Who will teach humans ethics? We don't even have our own ethical guidelines properly formulated. We can do better. And I love you all. And I'm happy that you're tuning in for the show. Thank you for doing so. Let's prevent the bad actors. Let's prevent the greed and corruption from entering through the neural warfare systems that are going to be made, through the biowarfare systems that are going to be made, through the systems that are already made through the smartphones and through the computers that we have. Because when you look at this machine, it actually already has some of those attention economics built into it to reel you in like a fish with notifications over and over again. Reel you in as a fish with notifications over and over again, because they make money every single time that you land on their pages. Ads, 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 feed, feed. It's all cognitive easing because it's all an echo chamber. It's not, you don't have to add new perspectives and try and formulate new ways of thinking. Think about it. Really think about it. Talk about it in nuance with your friends and start inspiring other people to slow down and think. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Give us your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Join the public Telegram. Let's continue the conversation there. The link's below. Go check out Bernhard Gunther's work. Again, the link's in the bio below. And much love, everyone. And we will see you soon. And keep building the future. Keep manifesting your destiny into the world, everyone. Practice that sincere self-work, that meditation, psychedelics, body work, love, compassion, coherence, resonance, planetary architecture for maximal prosperity. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Peace.